This is our NUDG platform, which stands for NIST Unified Data Governance. This is our main dashboard. On the left are all the family policies. In the middle, under the drop-down selector, is the sub-policies within the family, the status, the policy number, and also the NIST controls that the policies map to. The bar graphs on the right show which of the 110 NIST 800-171 controls are implemented via the policy. The button on the right is the summary button that takes you to the family of policies, and it's color-coded so you can see which policies are implemented, which ones have a deficiency, and which ones are in progress. You can also edit the status from this, as well as see which policies have the different types of tasks associated with them, as well as which NIST controls are mapped to, as well as you could set priorities, set estimated due dates, start dates, and assign it. Incident response plan we'll get to in a minute. The full policy navigation menu. This shows all the policies within the system. And again, it's color-coded so you can see which policies you have implemented, which ones have a deficiency, which ones are in progress. Also, the borders have a color to them, which that has a legend to it. So, for instance, the light blue background or the border would be technical configuration, the brown would be administrative, and then so on and so forth for the other color codes. And this gives it so that way you have a nice overview of how to tackle the policies and which ones you would like to handle first, second, third, depending on what type of tasks is associated with that. And you can get to the summary section from this page, as well as edit the status. And this can be exported as well as emailed as well. Administrative. So one of the policies calls out for creating different types of accounts. This is where you would set the groups. So for like a domain administrator, you would just type in the group name there, and then you would associate or add the employees to that group. Inventory asset tracking. So this is the device, all the devices within the system, and then assigning employees to the device or a group of employees to the device. Ports, protocols, services. This tracks different pieces of the system. Maintenance. So network maps, log files, IT documents are all tracked within the system. Incident response plan. So there's different ways to get to the incident response plan. We have a pretty in-depth feature explaining a lot of information regarding it, what you do in when you have an incident, as well as we have it defined into processes so you can function as a checklist, so you can make sure you're accomplishing all the steps, as well as different categories of incidents. And here's the incident response form. And here's the category list that goes into the details of the different types of incidents. Reports. Group folder permission report. This is shows all the employees that have the different folder permissions. So either a group of employees or an individual employees. This specifies what types of permissions to each folder. Group member report. That's just which employees are associated with which groups. Inventory, this is for which employees are assigned to the different devices. Ports, protocols, services, it's a report on that. NIST assessment. So there's a couple different ways to get to the policies. You can do it through the selection of the drop-down selector. We'll go to the first one. And then this brings up the policy page. So the policy objective, policy procedure, guidelines, and standard for the policy, which NIST controls the policies map to, what type of task is associated with that policy, policy number, sub-policy name, procedures. So this is the technical step-by-steps that we take to implement the policy. Procedure list is that list broken down into step-by-steps. We can get pretty detailed with this, and this is just to really define what goes into implementing that policy. So that way a technician would have a step-by-step set of instructions on what to do to implement that policy, as well as an auditor can see exactly what we did to implement the policy. Deficiencies are tied directly to the policy. Details, you just click on the deficiency and it pulls up the details of it, as well as the remediation plan and milestones for that deficiency is all tracked right there. The NIST assessment. So these are the NIST controls that are mapped to that specific policy, and it has all the requirements, the objectives, and the requirement questions. And all this information comes from the NIST Special Publication Revision A, as well as the NIST 162 Self-Assessment Handbook. This general overview section is where we describe how we implemented these controls. So as you're implementing the policy, you can perform a NIST assessment as well. And NIST assessment form, you can perform a NIST assessment without going through the policies, and this goes through each of the controls one by one. A deficiency summary report. So there's a couple different ways to get to the reports. There's a report section here that has the procedure policy report, as well as a family deficiency report, which is all the deficiencies within all the family. So all the family policies within the family of policies. That's the deficiency list. The policy deficiency is just this individual policy deficiency, as well as the full list of deficiencies, which is all the deficiencies within the system. And you can get to it here as well, selecting the policy family, as well as the full list of deficiencies. Projects is just a feature to track different projects and to assign different tasks associated with the project. It's just an additional feature. Policy summary overview. So this is the general overview of all the family of policies, and you can see what types of tasks are associated with each policy, as well as which NIST controls the policies map to. And then this is where you can set your priorities and figure out which policies you're going to do first, second, third, fourth, and then assign it to different personnel as well. And then same thing, you can export the summary from this page as well. And that pretty much covers all the features within the NUDG platform. Please visit our website at nudgesystems.com for more information. Thank you for watching.